Hello, hello, and welcome to Simulacra Studios presents Trinity Continuum Aeon VARG for Salvation. I am your story guide, Scott, and here are my players, and they will introduce themselves, starting with Jim.
I'm Jim, he, they pronouns. I'm playing Logan McCall, I believe was the last name for this one. I don't know. I have a lot of characters I've been playing lately. The former criminal for being a good person, who really needs a cup of coffee.
We'll see about that. So who are you going to throw it to next?
I will throw it to Laughs.
Hey there, I'm Josh Heath, he, him pronouns. I am playing looks upward toward the stars and sees danger, ear, laughs at, and destroys. Who goes by Laughs, and their pronouns are they, them. And I will kick it over to Sean.
Hi, my name's Sean Creef, he, him pronouns. I am playing Wusasar, the teleporter born on one of Earth's earliest extrasolar colonies. And I'll drop it on down to Nigel.
Hello, my name is Nigel O'Rear. I play Jude Fletcher, the superior who was born in Canada and became a pseudo superhero. My pronouns are he, him, as are Jude's, and I will throw it to Johnathan.
Hello, everybody. My name is Johnathan Fye. I will be playing Rafael Alvarez Castillo, the talent and resident nerd of the VARG for Salvation team.
Awesome. One last mechanical reminder is to remind my players about their reveries, which are little flashbacks that have mechanical benefits. So keep those in mind whenever you're about to do a roll or whenever you kind of feel like it, if you feel that the story warrants it. So we will begin with the camera in interstellar space once again, as it zooms around, finding a bright point out in the void, zooming past this artificial photokinetic sun as it orbits around a small verdant planetoid. The camera breaks through the atmosphere, coming down on a mountain lake that is set apart geographically from a lot of the rest of the surrounding area. The lake has a scaffolding, kind of like a fish farm over it. The lake is glowing with obvious pneumatic power and light. The transport comes down through the atmosphere, landing, disgorging telekinetically, placing the VARGs inside of the lake before circling around back onto a landing platform where our 5 heroes dismount alongside a Chin by the name of Indigo Void Dancer. So as you are disembarking, taking a look around, you see that there are these kind of makeshift prefab cabins that are there for each one of you. Indigo kind of surveys it and says, good, everything seems to be still in order. I believe we had a pretty hot exit there. So allow me a brief tour of our facilities here. As I mentioned before, this is a gift from one of humanity's new allies. It's called the Creche. I don't know much about it, save that it's apparently a sentient psychic solar system. But we don't have time to think about that because we've got shit to do. So the lake there, that is a powerfully vitikinetic fluid. I believe it is currently repairing your damaged VARGs. If any of you have any injuries, feel free to take a dip. It'll knit those up as quickly as possible. Any questions regarding that? All right, cool. Fantastic. Indicates that the cabins, these are just cabins. There's nothing super special about them. Points over to kind of this low growing orchard. And says this is going to be providing us a lot of biomass. We have an auto chef to break it down and provide basic meals. Pretty standard stuff. And then points to a fairly large looking pylon that is kind of connected out through ground wires out to a circular pattern of little beacons, and says, this is the main game here. This world has a powerful psychic resonance with the teleportational mode, and it will allow us to essentially bilocate this area of the planet with a beacon that has been sent into the Vega system. Small on a relative scale of size, so hopefully it won't be detected by the enemy. The beacon has been injected on a off elliptical orbit of the system, so hopefully we will be able to come in undetected when we turn it on. Note about that, we can only really turn this thing on once. Once we turn it back off and the locality is split, there's no turning back. So we turn this on, it's on for the duration. Is that clear?
Yes.
Excellent.
What powers the beacon, and can it be? Is that a liability for us? Is there a means by which it can be turned off?
I think the planet does.
Yeah, the planet is its own power. It's, as far as that's concerned, that's where the bulk of its power is concerned. If we have a limit on power, it's actually the lake. It's very good at healing, but it does not have an infinite well of power. This planet is, like I said, it's aligned toward teleportation. The Vitikinesis is a gift from one of the other planetoids.
Do we have a rough understanding of how many times the Vitokinetic lake will be usable?
He rattles off a in character explanation of roughly 100 psi points.
Thank you.
Scott, the cabins, are they like human hardtech structures? Or are they?
Yeah, they're human hardtech structures. She says, so I believe we explained the clairsentient enhancement pod that is to be implanted whenever you guys locate a suitable tactical site. When you get into colony space, it will need to be calibrated. So that will probably be your first task. During the roughly 30 minutes that it needs to be calibrated, it will also function as an airs pod. And she kind of indicates, laughs, and says, you may be able to use that to gain some reconnaissance information.
Great. That sounds awesome. My only question is, where can I get a chili dog?
He points over to the auto chef and says, you'll get a chili dog shaped extrusion of biomass in maybe about 5 minutes from ordering it.
Perfect. Thanks.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's a chili dog?
That is outside of my scope of expertise. You might want to ask your friend there. I do not eat human food. So
I do have a question.
Yes.
Our station's AI, SI, is she an SI?
Yeah, she's an S. Yeah.
Our station's SI was able to extract before its destruction. She's currently on board the shuttle. Is there a facility where she can occupy here on planet?
I think probably the shuttle is going to be the best place for that. We'll be having the shuttle as part of our operational capacity. Obviously getting you guys around the solar system. It's quicker than I think any of your VARGs. And I believe some of your VARGs are not suited for space flight. So I'll be with you guys for the long haul of it. But my area of specialty is biotech maintenance and piloting conventional shuttles, conventional spacecraft. So that's where I'm going to be focusing my attention on that. But yeah, as far as operational command, that is up to you guys. I'm your grease monkey and I'm your taxi driver. So I suggest you guys come up with a plan.
How long do we have until the beacon is ready to co-locate?
It's ready when you all are. I think probably your VARGs will have maybe another hour or two. He kind of checks and looks at your VARG, Raphael, says, maybe 5 for yours.
Yeah.
That's going to take some doing. Looks like it took a pounding. So
It
yeah,
did.
I'd say you guys have about 5 hours, but when you're ready to go, we can switch it on. But like I said, there's no switching it back off until the job's done.
Well, it sounds like we got ourselves a little bit of R&R, at least for the time being. I know I could certainly use a break.
I'm going for a swim. Anyone want to join me?
I honestly, I still need you to tell me what a chili dog is.
Oh, so humanity has created the absolute best. Let me show you. Showing you is much better than explaining it, because actually explaining it's bad. Let's go get one.
Yeah, you go over. The auto chef is kind of it is a hard tech device that essentially just takes in biomass and like prints out like it essentially like 3D prints out foodstuffs. And it starts to print out it executes the bun template, it executes the chili, the hot dog template, and then it starts executing the chili template. So you have like these 3 different things, and you can combine them as you wish.
Okay, so
Oh, okay. I've had a hot dog.
yes. So,
I follow. I am human.
well, I'm just saying this is the best invention that humanity has ever created, and someday one of my cuttings, I'm sure, is going to create a chili dog franchise on Skate. Woo! It's gonna go crazy.
What are you going to call it?
That is a good question. I have not come up with it yet.
You have neither chili nor dogs as a cultural cognate, as far as I'm aware.
You're right. That doesn't mean it won't sell.
What
Oh no, I have no doubt that you will eventually be able to achieve this dream.
That said, it'll probably actually go over better since they don't have dogs as a cognate. And there won't be any confusion.
Yeah, you'll finally be able to correct that little grammatic trick.
Also, I'm just assuming we're all speaking English.
Yeah, you guys
Okay.
have lingua franca of English is perfectly viable.
Okay. I think everybody should be speaking Chinese, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody speaks Chinese, thank you.
Most of us do.
I mean, we can firefly it and throw in Chinese swears.
I'm down with that.
I was going to say, yeah.
I most
Or-
definitely do not.
Esperanto, if we just want to get like, I don't know. That's culturally sensitive enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I'll start looking up Esperanto. So I'll grab a 3D printed chili dog myself. I just imagining what that looks like being like extruded and prepared.
It is not a pleasant.
Yeah. Like
no.
it all gets happening behind a shield because
I
no
really
one
hope
wants to be.
So. It emerges like steaming and perfect, and like it probably has like a really nice like spice matrix to it.
I was picturing it just completely gray for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, it should have no color. It should look like it doesn't have like color was the extra option.
Yeah.
I'm vaguely imagining the kitchen from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where it looks great, but it tastes horrible. Logan is going to not partake in the chili dogs. That is prison food.
Nice
He
prison.
is going. Chili is an easy thing to make in mass. So is hot dogs. Sometimes the prisoners get creative. He is going to get himself a nice big cup of coffee because he hasn't had a good cup of coffee in forever.
Yeah, it extrudes out. It prints the beans, grinds them up, And as I believe we said on our Discord, you have to tell it to make shitty coffee, because
Oh,
it
yeah.
pre-programmed makes a really good cup of coffee.
He is 100% coaching it to make the, by modern day standards for the time, probably the worst cup of coffee anyone else would have ever tasted, because it has like grinds in the coffee that you're drinking. But to him, this is like the stuff he grew up drinking and all that, so it brings back good memories and makes him not want to murder people.
It is bitter and harsh and filled with terrible tannins and esters.
Where
yeah.
are you from, Logan? I ask. I smell the coffee from here.
Oh, it's probably like acrid as hell.
Oh yeah, and he takes it black. There is no creamer in that. I can't remember what city I actually said he was from. From the FSA.
I'm
And
sorry.
That's worse
not
than where I grew up.
the wealthy part of the FSA.
How much of a
Thank you.
bio did we all get on one another? Did we have little dossiers?
Yeah, I would say that you'd be given basic dossier information on a thing. I'll leave that up to individual players as to what is public information about them.
So just so we're all aware of technical capabilities, I'm a teleporter. I think that's probably pretty clear by now, but I'm mostly good at moving myself. I can do other things. I can do portals. I can move you guys, but it'll take some time and effort. So that's capability. And looks like McCall here is a fire boy or ice boy.
Psychokinesis, specialty in thermokinesis with a subspecialty in parakinesis.
Ice boy.
And I throw up shields when I need them.
And laughs. I don't want to be insensitive. Is your entire species clairsentient?
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So I am much better at getting from one place to another place. I guess understanding where things are and where they're going to be and where they have been all helps for that. But like, wow. Yeah, you're right.
Wait, so is that your way of saying you can also teleport?
No. I just am good at getting from one place to another place. You see, like, anyway, yeah, I've been there and I will be there.
Their movement capabilities are good, and they're good at remembering where they've been.
Yeah.
So you're better at pathfinding.
Sure. If there is a path to be seen, has been seen, will be seen, sometimes I struggle to linear.
Do you think that is something? I do understand that you took a few pretty good hits back in the hangar. Is that something that you feel you can try to do before we turn this portal on? I know that if the beacon acts as an Ares pod, you will almost certainly be in it once we deploy. But beforehand, is there any clairsentient reconnaissance you'd like to try?
Oh, man.
There's a cutaway to the interior of your experience, and like you're seeing that ever encroaching black wall of time blindness just getting closer and closer.
Let me just say that, like, sometimes having been someplace is kind of like sometimes you don't see past the door when the waves are rough.
So you can't do the thing that you said you could do.
I can do exactly what I said I can do. You're just putting words in my mouths.
Mouths. That was plural.
I do believe he has multiple mouths. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I don't-
They. My apologies. Raphael, what do you do?
I am none of those things. I am just very skilled at what I do. I am extremely skilled when it comes to systems infiltration. When it comes to network and data systems. I am certainly not a bad hand when it comes to the VARG piloting. As you can see, everything went well until, but I am not psychic or anything of the like.
Yeah, I mean, you did great. You just made the classic mistake of giant laser letting it hit you.
I mean, when you're
Sometimes it's hard
when
to get out of the
something
way
gets
of a
a-
giant laser.
I mean, it wasn't exactly giant laser. It was getting grabbed a hold of that was the problem.
Oh,
I got up too close and I did not move quickly enough to get away. And that was my mistake.
I just have the memory of giant lasers sort of seared into my brain parts.
Indigo mentions, so yeah, before we turn the switch, I think that the pool can draw from the planet's reserves pretty easily. So any injuries that you guys are suffering, I highly recommend taking a dip. Otherwise, it will have to draw from the reserves once we switch over.
Is it-
I'm not taking I'm not going to start ticking boxes until that time.
Is it possible for us to transfer our psi energy to the planet, or is it too incompatible?
I don't think yeah, I think that it's part of its own system. We might be, he kind of thinks for a little bit, kind of rubs his little pastel chin and says, I might be able to work on something that can do that if situation gets dire. Yeah, okay, I'll add that to my to-do list. He like motions over to this kind of like biomatrix computer with like a big vat in it and says, I might be able to grow something that can cause that function, but it'll take a little bit of time of me tinkering around.
Would that be a useful expenditure of our resources, or are we overthinking the problem?
I mean, it depends on how much you guys are planning on getting hurt.
Well, unfortunately, we're up against one real tough son of a bitch. So,
I mean, it's from what I understand, just it functions off of the natural process of vitikinesis, which it can heal you over time. But if you want it quick, it takes power to transfer and make that happen quickly. So it can be cheap and a little longer, or if you really want to burn through it, it can go fast. But I can look into trying to transfer that, unless you guys have any other projects in terms of custom BioWare that you might want to get whipped up. Well, that seems like a good usage of my time while we're not in field.
in terms of armament, I think, well, I know my VARG is to my liking. Does anyone else have any need of particular equipment, weaponry, maneuverability?
We have he kind of indicates to another piece of technology. We do have a hardtech maker that can do basic repairs on weapons and armor of hardtech nature. Material is going to be an issue with that. You may need to harvest hard metals and the like in system, because there's not a lot of metal in this place, and less so when we switch over.
Well, funnily enough, there's an acronym for that, but one of the psi orders has co-opted it. So, in situ resource acquisition.
Well,
do
like
what
I
we
say, probably y'all should rest up, heal up any injuries that you have. Yeah, I don't think we have a hard time scale. The clairsentients back home, I think, know when to look when you guys are ready to switch it on. But hey, there is a war on, so.
Okay, well, I guess I should get rid of this black eye.
Yeah, anyone who
Um,
takes a dip in the pool instantly feels refreshed, invigorated. Wounds start to heal themselves over. It is generally the best bath you've ever taken. But
Can
yeah,
I
anyone who
breathe in the water?
yeah, you absolutely can. It
Okay.
is oxygenated and very, very refreshing for you.
That actually gives me two questions. What's gravity like here?
It's set to Earth normal. I think there is a quantikinetic organ deep below the surface that is generating gravity.
Okay. Uh, and atmosphere is Earth-like as well.
Yeah, like you guys are having no problems breathing or anything.
Well.
Yeah, well, but
Oh,
yeah, the conditions
no,
are set to Earth normal essentially.
the atmosphere is calcium carbide. You were all dead an hour ago.
This is all but a fever dream.
oh, good Lord.
Scott, I have if I may,
Sure.
I would like to call a reverie, but I just want to think ahead with
Okay.
it. So my thought process is this situation would cause Laughs to remember the growth of his VARG
Okay.
with the chin who helped kind of grow it. My thought is I want to kind of create some sort of, to steal a term from a different system, advantage for us with our VARGs in this by doing this. Is that
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. We can work on something like that. So yeah, we'll as you guys are sort of if people are taking a dip in the pool, as you Laughs are dipping in the pool, you're going under the water, swimming down a bit, you see the VARGs under the surface of the water in their cages, and your mind begins to slip backwards in time to set the scene for us, please.
yeah? So it's a large bioorganic biotechnology bay where Laughs's large crab-like VARG is nearly finished its first growth stage. It grows and sheds on a regular basis to match Laughs's growth cycle as well. Standing with him is a chin by the name of Scarlet Mind upon the horizon, and they cannot sense one another noetically, which really has created an interesting relationship between the two of them because they don't have to worry about all of the assumptions that get made through noetic connections, but also they get to experience each other in a very physical way that is very unusual for the members of the two species to interact with each other. And we're standing looking at the VARG, having been engaged in conversation probably about some sort of sport that we're trying to wrap our minds around that humanity focus on, hockey, because neither one of us can quite figure out why hockey is a game that exists. And I don't remember who is playing Scarlet Mind. Okay.
That is me. So because we can't sense each other nomadically, I guess I need to be in a biosuit to speak to you.
Yes.
So my understanding is there was originally multiple styles. There was something called street hockey, where they would not do it on ice. I don't know why they would play in the streets. That seems dangerous.
It does, particularly with the cars and things like that would fly back and forth. It seems particularly dangerous.
Would increase the skill requirement as well.
Absolutely would. That I've heard of field hockey as well, which less dangerous, but also more because they have, instead of a puck, they have a hard ball that they whack the sticks with.
What if it's a minefield?
Ooh. Should it be a minefield?
Probably not.
I think the interesting thing to me about humanity with their games is they're simulating war. I feel like that tells us a lot about them as a people.
Yeah, they are they have an aggressive streak in them. Your targeting computer is finished calibrating, by the way.
Fantastic. I'm so excited about this. How do you feel about doing this sort of work?
It is stimulating.
But do you like being stimulated like this?
Yes. Mentally, it's a challenge adapting to a different style of technology. And well, humans are fascinating.
They are. I've grown up, well, around them. And I feel like I know them until I just don't. You know what I mean?
No, my experience is the opposite. I don't know them until I do. Although I suppose, using their terms, I could cheat.
Because you read their minds?
Yes, which is not accepted in the way that I'm used to.
Yeah. Humans don't like being touched in any sort of way unless you kind of get pre-approval, right?
Consent. Have you ever noticed that they are so varied?
Even in ways you wouldn't think they're varied.
Well, I was speaking of noetic variants, but yeah.
That's one of them. But I'm thinking in like just the way they experience the world at time, the idea of time. Some of them get it and some of them just don't. Even the ones that aren't noetically inclined.
I see. There are a rare few Chin who have limited precognitive capabilities, but those are quite rare. So we tend to take a linear approach to time as well, but also place less emphasis on it. We have colonized all of our worlds without breaking the light barrier.
But you went out. That's what's amazing about your folks, is you leapt off your planet knowing that there's big bad stuff out there. You still did it.
We had learned all we could at home. We sort of mastered our world and got bored.
Boredom is the most dangerous thing in the universe.
That's true. Are you sure I cannot convince you to upgrade to the larger coil gun?
Could we?
We could, but we would have to adapt the frame to account for the recoil. Although with the extra limbs, it should work.
I think you've convinced me without needing to convince me. I had already decided yesterday.
I see. So this was You decided because we had this conversation?
Correct. And the conversation we're going to have Thursday coming.
On that moment of alien weirdness and co-confusion, we will zoom back into the present as you breach the surface once again to come back up above the water. And I will definitely say that you will have a hanging 9 again on operating or calibrating the VARGs.
Cool.
But yeah, so everyone is able to, like I said, heal up, get food, get a little rest, and perhaps
There will be a brief verbal spat between Raphael and Logan over coffee quality.
Oh, very much.
Absolutely. But we will fast forward a little bit until everyone has gotten themselves ready to engage the bilocality drive and enter into colony space. Once you when your VARGs are all healed up and they sort of raise up a little bit out of the healing matrix of the liquid, you all sort of they raise up to about cockpit level, and there's like stairs that lead down like to about knee length into the water. And you notice that all of your cockpits actually have some of this liquid inside of it. And it says, this is an enhancement that we've provided. It should provide a bulwark against quantum corruption, which, as far as we know, the entire system is going to be bathed in it. So while you're in the VARGs, you should have some degree of protection against harm due to quantum corruption. You should be able to breathe the liquid normally. It might take a little bit of getting used to, but it will sustain you and protect you.
It's like breathing liquid oxygen when you go too deep. It's unpleasant until your lungs are used to it.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, is this the same VARG Logan piloted before he was in prison, or did they have to grow him a new one?
No, they grew him a new one for this one. Yeah, no, that got decommissioned and reassigned, and you had to have this one special. Yeah, so Indigo says you should probably all suit up. We don't know what's going to happen when we flip the switch. I mean, we had that scare about there's been some infiltration of the project, so they may be waiting for us. So let's get ready.
Before we get in, Jude, do you have a moment? I'll be brief.
Of course.
I need to do this before we mount. I was sharp with you on the shuttle. I don't wish to excuse my behavior, but when I am bound to Quan's revenge, the animalistic urges can make me a bit of a dick.
I appreciate it. It's already water under the bridge. We were all exhausted, and several aberrants punched multiple of us in the face, and or whatever passes for the face. It's fine. This mission is important, and we all do need to work together. Eon system has worked well in literally every other iteration that I've encountered it, and I'm not so big-headed as to let that get in the way of a vital mission. So no, it's perfectly all right. We are well assembled, and I think we've got this. So no worries.
All right. Well,
I apologize.
No need. I will follow your lead. I don't have experience leading a VARG team, just partisans primarily. So
depending on what we find, you may very well be the better field commander. I'll be completely honest with you, and I'll kind of look pointedly over at the rest of the group and like lower my voice. I wish we had more intel going into this. I think we are as well equipped as we could be, but if shit hits the fan and we need to get word back, I want you to know that I'm going to be depending on you to be able to get back.
If I'm breathing, I can get back.
If it comes down to saving us or getting something vital back to Earth, Earth is more important.
Humanity is more important.
I agree. And you're right. Sorry. Farm boy.
No, I'm a farm boy, just not from Earth.
What did you grow?
Mostly soybeans and rice.
We had hogs.
We didn't do much livestock. We had synthetic meat.
Yeah, I mean, what footprint were you even working with? Was it just hydroponics?
No, we had a few genetic samples, and they actually sent some actual livestock, I guess, in cryostasis. I was born on Konsluki, so I wasn't there when they set it up. But yes, we had a lot of space, just didn't bring a lot with us. And there wasn't anything there to eat, naturally.
That's funny, because in my mind, the colony is just, it's cramped. You know, I always envisioned tight corridors and crowded bunks, but no, that's funny.
Well, it's both. We have the arcologies, which, for whatever reason, they were cramped. I guess it was design priority. But then most of the planet was empty. So it's a lot like Canada.
Yeah, there's some nice parts.
All right, well, let's rock and or roll.
Let's do it.
Yeah, as the VARGs are getting ready, the clairsentient pod is sort of wired into listeners. The Laughs VARG itself, it says you should be able to interface it through your own VARG system, so no need to climb in and out.
So, can I get touchy-feely for a minute with my other Scion friends? Cesar, friend Logan? Can you come over here?
Oh, before we get in?
Oh, sure. It'd be better.
Oh,
Logan walks over, still holding another cup of coffee.
Yeah, everyone, by the way, has had the opportunity to change into like the mission special design jumpsuit.
Nice.
That has like the bio interface attachments on them.
Our cool Task Force Salvation logo.
Yeah.
In passing, as Logan goes by, Raphael will just raise a cup of much better coffee towards him, like a little salute.
You're both savages. Drink tea.
Not enough caffeine.
Depends on the tea.
Yeah, so you guys are getting together. Indigo is also there with you. And he says, did I intuit your intent? Did you want to sync?
Yes, exactly.
Well,
Can we
I
do-
can form a mind link if that is agreeable to everyone.
That might be tough, but sure.
I'm not sure it's a good idea for us to stay synced. We're going to burn through our energy really fast that way.
No, just I want to get a look ahead as much as possible. And doing it together makes us better.
All right.
I find this agreeable.
It Scott, one concern I have with connecting telepathically using mind link is Laughs has telepathic resistance. So one of the issues for them is that they struggle with being able to make those sorts of connections, obviously.
Right. Okay.
So just a
yeah.
thing.
It's just like it's available. If you ever need to combine your abilities, we can make it happen on the fly. I understand part of the function of your VARG Laughs is an enhancement to your ability to link up as human scions do. So yeah, that it's available. But yeah, you guys can take care of it. I'll stay out of it for the time being, but I'll be with you guys probably within range for most time. So if you need to do that, it's available and quick and easy.
Cool. Laughs is going to wrap his their arms around Cesar and Logan's legs, and I think we are going to try to do whatever sort of looking forward we can do, particularly with a second level of psychocognition, yeah, least resistance.
Okay.
I want to be able to just, if something big is going to happen when we land, have a path forward through it.
Okay. Go ahead and make that roll with any enhancements from I think your enhancement that you would get from Logan would be on physical objects, and from Cesar, it's like
It's a
area
distance. Our band gets
okay, all right,
at least one
okay,
larger.
noted. Okay, the band will apply. The physical objects won't apply for this one.
Okay.
Okay, so you're trying to provide information about the near future. You're using the secondary effect.
Yep, correct.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and make that roll.
Okay, it's 3 successes and 2 enhancements, so should be 5.
5. All right, let me just go home. Oh, okay. So this essentially gives you you're setting the waypoint. You're setting the save point. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Noted. Okay. Noted. Yep. Good. So 5 minutes into the future. Cool. All right. Yeah. So yeah, you guys are all able to get into your VARGs. They activate. As the cockpits close up, they take on a little bit more of that fluid from the lake, and you guys are encased in vitikinetic psychic energy, made physical through fluid, and your VARGs start to power up and take off. Indigo goes over to the beacon, and you hear over your comms, all right, switching over, unless anyone has any last minute. Everyone go to the bathroom. Yeah, it's fine. You can pee in your VARG.
It'll filter out anyway.
Yeah, it will. And then he presses an indentation on the device, and there is those of you with psychic senses sense a massive noetic shift as this section of the planetoid gets noetically separated from the rest of it, and the sky kind of shifts and changes from one set of stars with like a vague horizon of the photokinetic sun to utter void of a star field, and the wave of quantum corruption, just ambient quantum corruption, starts to leak in from the sky as your psychic senses rebel against it. Buffered against it is the liquid that is providing a bulwark, so there's no mechanical effect on you. And you are in 2 places of space and time at once, ready to launch into the Vega system.
All right. Our mission is to reconnaissance. Laughs, you've got point. Everyone else, to the best of your ability, let's protect Laughs.
Yeah. Indigo gets into the shuttle, fires it up, basically gives a up and down on who wants to be transported by the telekinetic tether and who wants to be free of the shuttle. So who's getting picked up and who's going under their own power?
I'll be escort under my VARG zone power.
Escort under VARG zone power.
I gotta get tethered, so I'll go with the
Yeah, I
tether.
need to get tethered. I have no flying.
Okay.
I'm gonna hang on.
Okay. All right. So yeah, these 3 telekinetic tendrils wrap around your Vargs, and you all lift up into the sky, crossing the barrier into the Vega system proper. You are, like I said, as mentioned, you are at a point in space somewhere off of the elliptical of the system. There is a lot of empty space around you. Off in the distance below you, you see the white star of Vega shining below, but you are not able to pick up anything on your visual sensors or your VARG sensors. It's a lot of empty nothing.
I turn on the radio.
What's on the radio?
No, I turn on the radio
Okay.
and scan through.
Yeah,
broadcast.
there is not a lot in terms of like you scan the systems and you think you might hear like some beeps and borps that might be an encrypted signal that it picks up, but there's nothing there. There's no college radio.
And then eventually you hear the Hispanic channel.
Yeah,
I was looking for Fox News, but
I guarantee you that there is a version of Fox News on the colony homeworld, but it doesn't reach out this far. Yeah, so the pod indicates that it is ready to begin calibration.
So as a note for the science nerds at home, Vega, the star, is about twice as wide as the sun is. It's about twice as massive as the sun is, and it is 40 times as bright as the sun is. It's actually so it's rotating so quickly, and it's so large that it's an oblate spheroid. It's squished rather than a perfect sphere. So yeah, it's a real monster up in the sky.
I'm hearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. As soon as we get
Visual
in, all of our visuals probably all just like immediately polarize, like fucking in sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, and there are,
imagining the inside of a welder's helmet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From what I've read, there's also they suspect that there's some degree of like energy anomaly and like things that are very high radiation output.
Yes.
It's not a great star to be around. Which hey, maybe that's why the colony came here. So yeah, so you guys are there, and the pod says it is ready to begin its calibration process. So if listener, you want to do a psychonavigation roll in conjunction with its enhancement, you may do so.
Yep, I will do that.
Are we still linked?
That is a good question. I would like us still
I
to be.
think then
if
we
it's
all
possible.
have to spend a psi whenever you use a power.
Okay.
Whenever any of us uses a power.
My question to Scott is technically we would have to be touching, or can we touch and then separate?
No,
And-
you do have to stay touching unless you have a
Yeah,
telepath.
you do have to stay touching unless you have
Yeah.
a mind link. So yeah, I would say your connection is severed.
That's cool. So I got 2 successes on this roll.
Okay. And with the enhancement provided by the Airs pod and the range, you reach out your senses and you haven't encountered a lot of like quantum flux zones or anything like that's, and unless you want to say that you have spent some time sensing that energy. So yeah, the first thing that you sense is just disruption on a scale that you've never experienced before of your psychic senses. That black wall of time blindness makes total sense because this entire system is blanketed in a at the very least a low level quantum flux zone. Probably gets stronger as you get closer to active sources of corruption. But just the whole thing, whether that's a natural aspect of Vega, the star itself, or just the presence of multiple incredibly powerful aberrants, who's to say? But the pod is powerful and is able to enhance your own senses. You push past that. and you begin to scan through the system. And it is very, very empty, which makes it a lot easier to detect the things that are here. There's not a lot of noise here in terms of big planets. It's not full of life like Sol is. Like there's not presences everywhere. You detect 3 distinct signatures as you're scanning through the what's here. The first and sort of paradoxically most obvious is a giant hole in your perception. What you can only imagine is a planet-sized void inside. That is, it's horrible to look at, but it's hard to look away from in its terror. But your mind recoils away from it enough that you acknowledge that it's there, you know where it generally is in the solar system, and you wrench away from it, and almost your attention is drawn to another sensation, another large registered phenomena that is almost a balm to look on, because it is not disruptive. It is not screaming with the wrongness of its presence. There's a frequency that you can detect as quantum, but it is not, it is intense rather than abrasive and wrong. But that frequency also is operating not in a perfect balance, but with a balance of a noetic source. There is something psi-active on a large scale in this system. And that has had its own fascination. It is far away from the other black void, probably on a probably equidistant in terms of it's on one side of the orbit, and this is on the other side of the orbit. So they are, however it came to be, these 2 sources seem to be orbiting around Vega, generally equidistant, but as far away from each other as possible. And that's fascinating in its own regard. The other thing you sense is another less intense void, but still present, smaller. There's a lot of activity there, but not a lot of it screams with either quantum or just or energetic. It seems to be a structure of some sort. You sense it's not planetoid in its nature. There seems to be some sort of station that is also off of the elliptical, kind of hovering above Vega, kind of in a midpoint between these 2 other planetoids. And that is what you sense as the pod begins to calibrate and acclimate itself to this system and reset its internal parameters. So I will leave you to describe that to the party.
Okay, so we've got an Oreo situation here, guys. We've got a big source of big bad quantum corruption. We've got a big source of psi. I don't know what's going on with that. And then we've got this orbiting station. 3 Stooges. I don't know what. I don't know where to go.
Sorry, did you say that you were detecting a psi source in system?
Yeah. That was unexpected. Equidistant objects around the sun, around Vega. That big squishy thing in the sky.
Are they planets?
Wouldn't call them that. I don't know.
Are there planets in the system, Scott?
There appear like your sensors don't reach out that far from where you are right now. Space is big, guys. So yeah, your current sensors do not, like this pod was your reconnaissance of the system. You would have to get closer to the orbital plane to kind of be able to detect that. You don't like if anyone wants to do a science roll assisted by like a mini comp or something to try and like get some astrogation and like read from like visual sensors, they can do that to try and detect the presence of planetoids in the system.
Well, if we have a probe of some sort, I can get it a lot closer and then get back.
I'll try that science roll. Why not?
Sure.
The only rolls I've made so far have been in combat, so I might need you to walk me through this tiny bit.
Okay, so you take your science skill,
Mhm.
and then you pair it with an attribute, which you can sell me on any of them, and then
would
roll them
say,
as a pool.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you
I'll
have
s-
any enhancement that might sources of enhancement could be
Yeah.
equipment,
Yeah.
like a mini comp or anything that's on board your VARG that might be able to contribute.
Yeah, I would say that you
or-
guys all have equivalent of like you guys would have the equivalent of a mini comp, so you could take a 2 enhancement on this roll. Just generally. We'll detail that out later if it comes forward.
And as a reminder, we do have a refreshed pool of momentum.
Yes, you do as well.
Our tracking sheet shows currently we have got 5 dots of momentum that anyone can use for a variety of things, including adding dice to your pool.
Okay. Okay, so let me try to get the roll. Sorry, I'm just using a
No need to
Dice.
apologize.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're not very familiar with the system.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and remember you're looking for 8s and aboves.
8s and aboves on. Okay. Can I make a case? Could I make a case for always connected assisting me in this at all?
Is that a specialty?
No, that's a gift. Yeah, I will say that you essentially use like you can fire up the VARG's thing, and
Yeah.
if you're what that will help you find is like sources of transmissions,
Got it.
which
Which
will
could
help
help
you
us.
refine things. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Dice don't hate me today, please. Or to do, I of course can't find my dice right now, and 10s are re-rolled.
Yeah, they explode.
Cool. Well, that's a lot of successes. That is a whopping 6 successes before any enhancements.
Cool. All right. So you set your onboard mini comp to analyze the stellar field, pick up on like close objects, do some quick analysis of it. And as far as planets in the system, there is a gas giant on the edge of the system, which any planet that wants to harbor life at any point needs one of those.
Yeah.
And there are 2 planetoids that you can detect from here. And it like the system has to spend a little time like reconciling some things, because this is a very odd scenario where you have 2 planets roughly the same distance from the sun, so essentially kind of on the same orbital plane, but literally like it's an Earth 2 scenario where there is like there's a counter Earth scenario where you have one planetoid on one end of it, on the other, and they are operating like so that they are constantly as far away from each other as possible. Like your system like chugs through a couple of systems like this is an artificial scenario. This does not occur naturally. The math doesn't work out here. But it does confirm that is exactly what's happening. And your always connected, does detect a strong signal source from the spot where Laughs indicated was some sort of station.
Mhm.
Which you do have a low kind of like ping level connection to with your VARG systems.
Right. Then that information is immediately getting relayed. All of that ending with the fact, and I do actually have some degree of connectivity to the station.
Oh. Is this so there is a station?
Yes, it is a station.
Kind of
And
think
I
that's where we
will-
should go.
I will also just set markers for the two planetoids if I am able to.
Yeah, you're able to set markers. Like it corresponds, like the pod itself has like recording systems and whatnot. So you like all of that data merges and then disseminates out to your all systems. So you
Perfect.
have a map. Everyone has a basic map of what's going on in this system.
Exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah, like
So where is the psychic emanation coming from? The station, quote unquote?
no, it is not coming from the station. It is coming from one of the planetoids.
Okay.
And
Which-
these are gas giants or other planetoids?
These are based off where they are, rocky planetoids. You know, closer to the system, to the core of the system, but farther away from Earth because, as mentioned, Vega is very bright. So if there's life on either of those, it would put them in Vega's Goldilocks zone.
Mhm.
Laughs. You can't narrow down a species for that, can you?
I could try if you want to get close to me and
Well, actually, sorry, before I run down this path of in-character thought, Scott, do we know what happened to the teleporters yet at this point in the timeline?
Yes, it is common knowledge that they were kidnapped by the chromatics, though by means that are not. If your higher ups know more details about that, they're not sharing them.
Right, but I couldn't have just accidentally found them.
No. You don't. You know generally where they were and what happened to them.
Right, actually, I should have known that out of character, but
Yeah.
So does the colony usually take people?
Yes, and it's assumed nothing good ever happens to them. Like there have been like the colony itself has only shown itself once in the Second Aberrant War when it attacked the jump ship station. But the forces of the colony have been known to kidnap people and abscond with them back to the help that they come from.
Okay. I ask Abuelita, which is my SI,
Mhm.
if there's a record of missing in action scions.
It scans and it says it sort of scans, reconciles with the data from the heirs pod. Not that would account for that strong of a psi source.
Do you think possibly it's our new psionic friends who made our planet?
Why would they be in the system?
Seems like it'd be very painful for them.
Why do you think they would suddenly want an alliance with us, though?
because humanity is awesome.
No, we're not.
Normally, I'm all for contemplating that kind of dark and terrible truth. But if the planetoid that is our only home base is a Trojan horse and we're being duped by duplicitous aliens, then we are well and proper fucked. And it kind of doesn't matter. So
I'm inclined to agree.
I'm all for investigating this psionic signal before we do anything else. If there are going to be allies in system, unlikely as that might be, that's probably the best place to at least start looking. But I'm willing to hear other ideas.
That's not our mission,
It is not.
sir.
Why did you just say what I was going to say?
Yeah.
Oh, because you can do that.
But I would argue that that finding allies could allow us to better accomplish our mission. If they've been here a
There's
while, and
also
they have
no chance that
reconnaissance
they're
information.
allies.
It also puts us honestly at risk of outing our presence here.
I'm just saying, reaching out to that kind of gives me what's that movie line? I've got a bad feeling about this.
Your grasp of pop culture is impressive.
I know that one.
An option has presented itself to us that was not originally present. The success of this mission is going to take operational flexibility.
If I may, I would suggest that we reorient ourselves to approach from that direction so that we might hide, maybe, behind the psi signal.
At the
And
very
where's
least,
this
that
station
is-
out here too? We're getting some signal from that.
That's where I think we should go. It's kind of like a middle ground. It doesn't have overwhelming force of one form or another on a diametric pole of beginning and ends. But that's just me.
It's also the place most likely to have massive weapons batteries.
That is also true.
it's also somewhere that we cannot sneak up on. It's much easier to approach any sort of civilization or settlement in the dark, but a station doesn't have a planet to hide behind. So if your worry, Raphael, is exposing us, then approaching a station is going to very much set off proximity alarms.
That's not entirely necessarily true.
Particularly not if I can actually get myself into those systems and ensure that we read as friendlies to it.
Well, depending on how well Laughs can see, I could put us literally on the station.
See what you can do.
Is this the plan?
It sounds like it.
I also suggest that, you know, Raphael does his thing, because
I feel as though some reconnaissance before we go in is definitely the correct route. That way we might be able to establish whether they are more inclined to be friend or foe. I would hate for us to just teleport into the middle of an enemy stronghold.
well, by onto the station, I meant like on the outside. That's probably the last place they would expect us to show. But actually, that reconnaissance, the digital reconnaissance, may be the best.
Yeah.
Unless it corrupts your system and you try to kill us all. But that's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
How close would you need to get, Raphael, in order to have a more useful signal?
I have a low latency ping right now. I would need to get.
I will say that in order to have any success at getting in, you will need to distance is fun in this system. I will say that you are even beyond extreme range, which is kind of there's just a no-go the way the system is. So you will need to get within extreme range of the thing, which it would be. You need to get closer. Essentially, you need to get closer from where you are now, which will take several hours of flight. Getting close there in order for your systems to actually be able to form a proper connection.
Give me 1 moment, or 10 minutes maybe.
Okay.
I'm going to try and open a very small portal much closer. I don't care if he has to stick a little antenna through it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so you're essentially
boy.
forming a portal. Okay.
Yes, a very small one.
Very small one. All right. Go ahead and make that roll. You are going to be at a +1 difficulty, just for the ambient quantum interference.
Okay, so it will be Psi and Transportal, which is my worst mode.
Ah,
And it's at 3, so it's +2 difficulty. But because I have upward focus, I get +2 enhancement.
all right.
So that sort of cancels itself out. May I use momentum?
Sure.
Seems like a good use of it.
Yes.
I'm going to use the 3 momentum to get us an experience. And open up Onyx dice.
Just as a flavor note, the coffee mug is in the cockpit with it is just sitting on like a dashboard or something.
Floating. Do you have a little sippy cup now?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't have any coffee in it. He finished that right before he like actually got in, but the mug is just like every once in a while floating by in the liquid.
Nice. I like it.
Gotta get your kick somehow.
2 net successes.
Okay, 2 net successes. You are able to take some time, form a portal in space, through which I'm assuming you're allowing EM radiation and like that sort of signal connection to come through.
Actually, I was not joking about the idea of just putting the antenna through there.
Okay, that's
because
cool as
it
well.
would be less
Yeah.
intrusive.
Indeed. Yeah. So yeah, you're able to get up this sort of, what does your portal look like, by the way?
This one is going to be just a small ripple. Nothing. I'm not letting light pass through it to either side. Just basically, it looks like one of those Looney Tunes black holes that they can throw on something. Which it's very disturbing, probably where you see it just hanging in space around us. Out in deep space, you might not even see it, but here there's just a black sphere or not sphere, but perfect circle.
So okay. So I'm assuming, Raphael, you stick your antenna
Yes.
bay through it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you stick your head because we'll say it's on the
Yeah.
head, so that you peek your head through.
Yep.
And your electronic systems, your signal systems, the signal gets picked up, the signal strength goes up pretty high, and you are able to get a more visual look at what this place is. And it is a pretty massive installation that it appears from just first approximation, only a small percentage of it appears to be active. But it has like multiple large spanning arms going out, and there's about half a dozen, it looks like derelict or halfway through completion space vessels connected to this thing. It looks like a shipyard. And your electronic systems are beginning to calibrate and start to form a basic connection to to whatever broadcast input output system there is. And before we start delving into that, we are going to take a quick break. So you peeked your head through, you see this massive, what looks like non-functioning shipyard facility, hovering above the elliptical of Vega. And you have a signal connection through your electronic warfare systems. What
Oh,
would
boy.
you like to do?
For starters, I would love to see if I can actually get into their communications network.
All right. Well, that is going to be a hacking attempt. So
Yep.
please give me an enigmas roll.
Sure thing, honey. Let go of my.
And I know you have access to the deep system scan gift,
Do.
but this is most certainly a inspired system.
Yeah.
So it will provide you the benefit that it gives you for that, but it does not automatically work.
Okay. And that completely is makes sense to me. I also have to do, because I'm sort of done. Yep. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm just going to try to do it without using a specialty yet, because I don't want to spend the momentum just right now. Okay, here we go. So on this sheet, sorry. I assume I can still use intellect for this.
Yes, absolutely you can.
Okay.
Back where we are with the shuttle,
Mhm.
are we moving or are we like floating still in relation to like the star and everything?
Yeah, you are
else?
floating still. You guys did not do a hard burn to get out of here. There is like much like Cesar's portal, there is kind of a ripple behind you that indicates the barrier. And like that point in space is noted on your systems. There is probably behind that ripple, which you guys can detect, a biotech kind of shell that is the other part of the entangled beacon, which has like a high grade thruster in itself, so it itself is maneuverable, but it has stabilized at a point. So
I'm going to do essentially an orbital air patrol of just
Okay.
like I'm going around the portal and the shuttle as they currently are, just to make sure that I have an awareness of the local area of space.
Cool. All right, and I see that you have some successes there. I'm just
Yep.
looking over what deep system scan would give you.
Everything.
I understand what you're doing for a rule of cool there, but is it really necessary to do that in space?
All right, yeah. So you are able to bypass the complication and get into that system. It doesn't seem to be actually a very well guarded system in
Mhm.
terms of like how electronically protected it is, but you're able to gain access to it.
Okay.
And what you sort of the surface level of like activity you get, there's a lot of like comms traffic, a lot of like system readiness alerts. Basically what you can tell is that this system is kind of a comms relay,
Mhm.
both like in system as well as there you are getting some signals from sources that seem to be emanating from outside of the system.
Okay.
So it's communicating both in system and out of system. Although, the dynamics of light speed is
It's a
it's a little
variable.
confusing because they're like, yeah, sure, a systems relay, that makes sense. But then you remember that these things can break the laws of physics.
Yeah.
So it may be having instantaneous communications to another system.
Okay.
At least there's one, like you get like one other system that it seems to be communicating with on a regular basis, just in the short time that you're picking up the service level scans.
Okay.
How would you like to dig deeper? Like what sort of information would you like to try and gain access from what you have? And I'm assuming that other people can, like, now that you have a connection there, other people can start like piggybacking off of it.
Oh, yeah.
So if anyone else has a suggestion about where you can go digging to try and find information out, feel free to throw it up there.
Did they have a chain for hot dogs or
I'm not gonna-
chili dogs?
I'm not searching for chili dog information on this system, I swear.
To be tactically appropriate.
Actually, is there any information on patrols locally?
Yeah, I will say you're able to look up some basic information. Like, yeah, this system, this is not like, from what you can tell, this is not there's not a lot of people here. But there is a regular check-in from a series of patrols of things that come. They talk about patrols coming to and from Vega Prime.
Okay.
And yeah, there is patrol data that indicates this place is regularly patrolled.
Okay.
So it's not like an active hub of activity, but
Mhm.
it gets checked on regularly.
Okay. So that information obviously getting relayed immediately.
What is
Um,
this place, Raphael?
It seems to be largely a communications relay and hub. Information comes in and out of here from both in-system and external systems. I can't tell you how far because aberrant bullshit. What are physics even?
So it appears to be aberrant communications.
I would assume so. It's
At least
not.
built by
You know what they say about assumptions.
Well, it's not our communications.
What language are they using in human language at all?
It is actually primarily Chinese.
It's
Oh.
largely Chinese.
I speak a little Chinese.
I'm not terrible.
I mean, your systems auto-translate that shit
Yeah.
anyway, so. But yeah, well, as you're like digging into like some of the comms logs and whatnot, it seems to be a dialect of Chinese. Like not like what it's kind of what you expect for, you know, a couple almost 100-ish years of separation from humanity. You know, linguistic drift.
Question: how much does it look like the systems used on the colony ship that was launched to Konslughi in 2050s?
You look over that data. It does not seem to be a similar base. Like the similarity is that it's primarily Chinese,
And from
but yeah,
similar time, but
yeah, from a similar time, but it's not operating off like, you know, you don't recognize Ligayan like protocol or anything like that.
Raphael can see this station, right?
Yeah, he poking his head out.
Does the actual physical station have any kind of identifying markers on it? Because usually they do.
says V'ger.
Well, not just
Um,
V'ger, but you know, not just features, but usually they'll have some kind of, you know, station blah or, you know.
You can look through the records, and actually give me another Enigma's roll to find that, because
Sure
you're not detecting any like it doesn't have like an obvious like ID stamp on its comms, and there's like visually searching it, it doesn't look like there's anything like that.
1 second. I gotta re-roll 3. Yes, I just got 3 10s.
Glad somebody is.
Oh, and Scott, just a note, I actually only had one net success because of the 4-dot power, not eight.
Okay.
That-
It's
that-
still enough.
That would in fact be 7 successes now.
Okay.
I'm
We know
really
all the
good at
things.
certain things, guys.
Luckily, that is enough to overcome the 3-point complication that I'm assuming you'd like to buy off of
Yes.
being detected.
Yes, definitely. I would very much like that.
But that is also enough to beat the difficulty and give you a core clue and one additional clue. The core clue of which is that whatever station it's very odd when you try to investigate this, because in its current use, they don't refer to it as anything other than like a numerical designation. But you're able to dig through some old records until you find like a name for this place. And its name is the Daedalus Creche. Like that's what it used to be called, and then it stopped being called that. And they have
Got it.
this very bland, basic numerical designation.
Oh, was the entire word in Chinese or English, or rather, I guess, Greek for Daedalus, or was it just Daedalus in English?
Daedalus was in English. Actually, no, the whole thing was in English.
Okay.
So like when it indicates its name, it says Daedalus Creche in English.
That feels weird.
I mean,
I don't know why.
I don't think that there's any necessarily stand-ins for the name Daedalus in Chinese, but I would assume creche is a word.
Well, yeah, but why would they use some European?
Anyone would like to roll a very hard culture roll? I will offer that up.
Has.
I would like
muted, Nigel.
laughs to make one.
I would.
Could I make a case for humanities?
You could. I would also recommend that if anyone wants to get the potential mechanical benefit of a reverie, that might be an appropriate thing.
Well, would no, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can throw in.
Right. So who wants to make it, and do we want to activate a reverie to enhance it? I would say humanities would also apply, although that may color the information.
Right.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the mechanical benefit. Is it enhancement or is it 9 again?
It would be 9 again, target number lowered, or both, depending on my whim.
Okay, well, I just making sure it wasn't enhancement because I have no dots in culture. But I was thinking about using my colonist path to possibly know if this is what I assume it's related to.
I mean, there's some out of play knowledge that can be applied here, but yeah. So who wants to try and figure this out?
But I will let somebody who has these skills try and use them.
I have culture. Does anyone else actually have culture?
I have a dot,
don't.
but I think you probably have
okay.
more.
No, that'll be me.
All right. So
And I'll do a reverie.
Okay.
The one that I think is most applicable would be my contact for my Legion's path, one Lieutenant Jirgadai Altun, the Claircentian military historian.
Excellent. Okay. So as you guys are collating this information that Raphael is feeding you from his system scan, and that word Daedalus Creche pops up, Jude, you start to sort of rack your brains because you think you might have remembered something about it, and we whoosh back into the past. And please set this scene for us, Nigel.
So this is a night of celebration. Jude and his best friend in the academy. Sorry, not the academy. His best friend in the Legion's officer school.
Officer candidate school.
Thank you. Is one Lieutenant, now Lieutenant Jirgadai Altun. He is a Mongolian man. And they are celebrating at their favorite dive bar somewhere in, where are the Legions?
Australia.
Yeah, so probably like a dive bar in Adelaide, I'll say. And the established canon of this moment is that there is going to be a bar brawl, but we are out celebrating both of us graduating and receiving our commissions. Who is the person playing Lieutenant Jirgadai?
I am.
All right. So we see a seedy, an appropriately seedy, somewhat futuristic dive bar in Adelaide, Australia, where two young men in their dress uniforms are comedically polishing one another's pips as they drink a copious amount of alcohol. And Jirgadai specifically is the man who taught Jude how to drink.
The first thing we've got to do, vodka. Vodka is next on the list. Has to be next on the list.
Why aren't we going alphabetically? We should be going alphabetically. That way we can do a checklist to make sure it all gets done.
We're going around the world, country to country. See, we started in America with bourbon.
Ugh.
And then which was shit. And then we went to gin, which was even worse because of England. And now we are in Russia with vodka.
Okay, I mean, I don't mind it. It's just okay, fine. No, we'll do it. Excuse me. Hey,
Barkeep comes over. What can I get you?
vodka on the rocks, doubles. Make it 2, please.
Coming right up.
Yeah, make it 4. We need to have a line.
There's the clacking of billiards from the next section of the bar over as a game is being played.
So, like, what is the point of a clairsentient military historian? Like, you already know everything, so you already know everything again. Like, what's the reason? Why do you care? Why aren't you doing something else? Like, why aren't you an engineer? Why aren't you a scout? What?
One, I'd have to be good at math for any of those things. The key is if you understand how things have been, and then when things are, oh, my head hurts. You've got to know the past to know the future.
All right, but like, but you look into the future. You already know the future.
The future.
Sentience is just knowing the future, right? That's what clear seeing.
It's everything is possibilities, buddy. There's just a chance that things will be the way we expect them to be. Because it's like when 2 shots of vodka come to the table, you know what you're going to do with them. What if someone comes by and he takes it and he tosses it over his shoulder and does that, and it sprays in someone's face?
Yeah. Motherfucker!
Hey! What?
Some local comes up and says, "You threw that drink in my face!" And he like puts his hand on Altoon's shoulder.
Yeah, so I did. Maybe you shouldn't have your face there.
Okay, no, whoa. sorry, we're having a philosophical discussion. We can
The philosophical this, and he throws a punch in your face.
it goes like Guy Ritchie style slow-mo as Jude's face just and then it's off to an honest to God barroom fight.
Yeah, these people are locals. As soon as the fists start flying, two other legionnaires come up from their drinks, and it is a bar room blast as the bar gets out of control quickly, and as the din of fists flying back and forth and insults starts to fade out, we return to floating in space. And I'm assuming you would like to make a culture roll. I will give you the choice of 9 again or lowered target number.
Lowered target number. For sure. So I'm going to be doing I'd like to do, for flavor reasons, composure culture.
Okay.
Just, this is a very tense situation. Mechanically, it's the same number of dots.
Okay.
I'm just trying to sort of keep my cool and remember what I can from all of my training. Now, understanding that the reason why you would want to be a clairsentient is because you could more easily recall what actually happened, rather than a fallible human brain. So 3 for that, 3 for culture. So 6 dice. Okay, come on, buddy. Oh my God. So target number was lowered. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 3 successes. One of them is a 10.
Roll that bean footage.
4 successes.
So yeah, you're thinking back. You're thinking back to other conversations with Jurgadai, talking about the history of human advancement, how things done, and you remember a conversation with him about something called the Daedalus League, which was a Nova Age faction that was all about human expansion into space. Building spaceships, going out, and as you're looking at this image through Raphael's thing of a derelict space yard, you make that connection of maybe this didn't start off as a colony controlled system.
I'll like the comms are already open, and you all hear me go like, shit, that was an old Nova program of space exploration, like Nova era space exploration.
Holy shit.
This has been out here for hundreds of years.
That would explain the state of things.
It was a legacy system. They already knew it was here.
But what if they didn't?
There's only so many stars that you can get to reasonably close to Earth, so it could be that they randomly got here, but
what if they were part of the league?
That's how Colony knew this was here?
Could be. We don't have a solid idea on who they were, or even if they were from Earth, as far as I'm aware. If someone knows, it's not me.
How this thing is big and it's old. Are there gaps in any of its network of sensors that we could hide somewhere within its vicinity, like physically on or inside of any of its derelict components?
I mean, it's
I'm
big.
sure it is pretty damn big, and it's not regularly patrolled. Let me see what I can do about the sensors, and let me see if I can figure out how to tag us as friendlies.
All right, that is going to be you're pretty deep in the system. You've got pretty good access to it, but you're going to have to interface with some of the hardware. So that will be a technology roll.
And it's old technology that is somewhere down deep in its base layers. However, that helps or hinders Raphael.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably wasn't made by somebody who is orders of magnitude smarter than us.
Lowest bidder.
Actually, for this, since I am trying to get into these systems, would people, oh no, never mind. That would not apply to that. Never mind. Let's do this thing. I read my own stuff and realized that what I was hoping would apply definitely won't apply. Because this is definitely not a mundane system.
Nope.
And I'm sorry to the audience watching, I have a very needy cat.
Okay.
As I've stated before on many previous stream, cats can do whatever they want on Simulacra streams, so it's okay.
Yep. He's just, he is very needy today.
No more.
Away!
Okay, here we go. Okay, so that is 3 successes plus a 10. I'm re-rolling the 10. That's another 10.
Nice.
That is a total of 5 then.
So yeah, you get into the systems. So I will say there is a complication on this roll. It is a 2-dot complication, which is means you will be detected in some way if you do not buy it off. But it is also a 3 difficulty roll to do so. So you will have to choose between success with being detected somewhat, or just flying under the radar of what's trying to detect you, but having to make another roll to achieve your goal.
I will fly under the radar and make another roll.
Okay. You are beginning to detect some comm traffic, and you're that indicates an approaching patrol.
Okay.
And you're able to back out of whatever systems are going to detect your progress just in time. But yeah, you'll have to move in careful, and yeah, you are aware someone is approaching this space and is accessing the same systems you are.
Okay. So hold that thought. I've got company briefly.
We've got what?
I have company. One moment. So does that mean I need to actually back out of the portal then, Scott, or just the
I will
systems?
say that, yeah, if you want to continue accessing these systems, there will probably be a bigger complication next time. But yeah, you won't be able to access the systems without being through the portal. But you have it like you're still maintaining your connection. But the chance of discovery is ramping up.
Okay. It's more that I was asking if I needed to just back out of the systems, or if there is like physically a patrol approaching where the portal itself is.
There is a patrol approaching the station.
Got it. Okay. Just we have an incoming patrol to the station. I'm not sure if I could pull this off right now without risking being detected.
Stealth
Pull out.
matters. I say we cut
stealth is our
contact.
biggest ally.
When you
Right.
say patrolled, what do you mean?
What the information you have is someone, basically the sensors that you are detecting are picking up friendlies approaching the area, and there are call responses happening between whatever's approaching the system and the station.
There are actual individuals approaching the station. They are tagged as friendlies in the FOF systems. And
But are they
whomever is on board the system is on board the station is responding.
Okay, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do we know if they're in a spaceship or they're, not?
I don't think it matters. I think we need to cut contact right now.
I just want to know if we're fighting people who right now who survive in the void under their own power.
Um,
Well, last time.
so while you guys are having this conversation, you detect through the systems a spark of energy that expels you and severs your connection.
Shit.
And there is a blanket of light that comes through the area that you guys can see through the portal that pings, like it pings and reflects off of your VARG systems as something is lighting up the area.
Scott, can I have been pre-warned about this based on previous rolls, or is it too?
It is far too long. It is
Darn
far more than 5 minutes.
Okay.
I will say. That
I get it.
it was a smart thing to do, but you're well past the time limit there.
Also, just to point out how bad this is, light wasn't supposed to be able to go through the portal.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
there is light, and like your senses detect like whatever this light is, it is like burning through like the psychic defenses that you've established through it. So yeah, whatever is happening, there's something is shining through the portal.
I
what
am
is
darting
everyone
back.
doing?
Darting back so that it can be closed.
Am I able to close it?
Give me a psi roll to see how quickly you can do that, or a psi transportal roll.
All right.
I'm going to say this is going to be a contested roll.
So I botched.
Okay. So what happens next is sort of that light sort of narrows as you are attempting to close the portal, and there is a pulse of energy that comes in, and in pretty much right next in you guys' like range of engagement, there is suddenly a large floating violet green disc upon which are standing 3 figures. And we are rolling initiative.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Is this apocalypse?
Oh, don't go to the other planetoid. You might get seen.
I tried.
There is a tall central figure that is encased in what looks like armor made out of like clear transparent glass, and their body is sort of rainbow chromatic, but like intense, like violent shades of the rainbow colors. There is the sort of multi-segmented pill bug kind of shaped being that is coiled around with a disturbingly humanoid but still kind of buggy face. And there is a being that is made out of translucent energy that has these long whippy tendrils for arms. Initiative roll is going to be the lower of your dex plus empathy, or your cunning plus athletics. So let me know when you have your total successes.
-1.
Oh boy, we'll just say that's a 0. Nigel, you have 3?
And don't forget, for anyone who happens to have the edge hair trigger reflexes, you get 1 advantage on initiative rolls.
If you roll successes.
Well, yes, that's how that's how enhancement always works. It
All right,
only
Josh,
applies if you roll at least 1 success.
I was just
Two?
lamenting my second botch.
Tentagons
rolls.
occur on
Yeah.
initiative rolls.
Yes, they do.
Perfect.
Scott, what is your role on failing and botching initiative and momentum?
I will say that, yeah, botches are botches. I will say it counts as a failure because mechanically it just sets you at 0. So it will gain you a momentum.
Okay.
Is 3 successes plus, I believe I do have hair trigger reflexes. So that would be 4 for initiative.
Okay. And what about Logan?
Oh, I put it in the chat, but I got a 2.
2? Okay, cool.
I had to double check what Danger Sense did real quick.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, I have an initiative roster. We are going to start with an aberrant turn. The whippy armed looking thing is going to coalesce something around the edge of their tendrils and whip it towards. Hold on, let me do a roll here real quick. Is going to whip it towards Jude's character. So please roll your defense, please. Defense is going to be one of your resilience attributes.
Yes. I will do composure.
Okay.
Failure. No successes.
Okay, so you have your base defense of 1.
2.
2. Okay, that's right. Yeah, you have that thing. Okay, so all right, it is going to do a whippy roll at you. I will let the scions in the group know that the highest level corruption entity that you are dealing with is corruption 5. Oh
wait, no, I do have my other thing. My defense is 3.
Okay, defense is 3. Good. All right, so I'm going to do me a roll here. Make sure that I've got the right success level.
Stolas is deeply concerned for you.
No.
This is going to be operating on power scale 3. So it's going to be a +1 scale to you.
Okay.
Since you have durability scale 2. It's going off of 4 enhancements, so 5 total successes. What is your soft armor?
The VARG's soft armor.
Yeah.
Is 2.
2. Okay. So it does have enough successes to damage you. It literally like coalesces like some from nothing, sort of a physical like glowing boulder thing that it whips at you, and it impacts your VARG's chest. Now I have a player turn.
How much damage does it deal?
It does one level of damage.
Okay, that comes off my hard.
Yeah.
If no one else is going to steal it, I would like to go ahead and take that first turn, because I imagine along with Jude, Logan was kind of like keeping an eye out and making sure that like no one snuck up on them while they were trying to hack into the station. And he's,
for the sake of tacticality, is everyone now on our side of the portal?
Yes, everything is on your side of the portal. I would say that eventually, yeah, that the portal itself fizzled out as a result of like the transmission beam.
Okay, thank you.
So since I cannot self-propel in space, do I just have to have the telekinetic vine?
Yeah, you can ask for a telekinetic assist to be flung, which has its own consequences.
Oh yeah, bad things can happen, guys. But
well, I mean, from where you are right now, you're telekinetically attached to the side of the shuttle. I'm assuming you can just do most of if you've got ranged attacks, you can just use them.
The disc with the things on it is at medium range from you guys, I will say.
Oh, then yeah, it's in range of my smart missile launcher. I was assuming it was a little bit further out than that. Okay,
no, they're up in they're relatively up in your grill.
Okay.
Oh my grill.
You don't say.
Oh dare, get away from my grill.
Now is it aim or pilot for VARG weapon? My brain is a little fuzzy today.
It can be either, I believe.
Either? Okay. So Logan's, these wings that don't actually fly on the giant praying mantis looking thing just spread out, and all of these little bee things start flying at them as I fire a smart missile launcher.
Which one are you attacking?
I am attacking the platform that they are standing on,
Noted.
hoping that they cannot self-propel, and by doing that, they will now be floating stationary targets.
Okay.
It also has it does have area of effect, I believe. So I think if I just get close to them, I would still potentially damage them. Yeah, it has massive explosion.
Okay. Noted. So I believe that means they may need to make a roll to avoid taking damage.
Yeah. And I have a lot to hit this with. So that is.
All right. So you're attacking the platform itself. Gotcha.
Yeah. And that is 3 successes only, sadly.
Okay.
It's another aberrant. It's just happy somebody noticed him.
That would be funny.
Yay,
but
fuck.
But yeah, all these bees, they look like you've seen Atlantis, the Lost Empire, right? The fireflies. It kind of looks like that is flying out of these wings going towards them.
Okay. So unfortunately, it does look like the platform shatters. It seems like it's just kind of like a flimsy energy projection that does shatter. And 2 of them appear to be kind of like just floating there. Let me double check that. Yeah. But the glass encased chromatic thing does seem to like maneuver a bit out of the way, but that does not appear that any of them take damage from the explosion.
Okay, but now we have 2 basically just floating targets.
They are currently floating at the moment.
Okay.
The chromatic one kind of like buzzes with this intense rainbow energy. And I'm going to spend a point of corruption, and it shines out brightly, and these 7 different colored like floating energy projections just sort of burst out of it and begin flying towards all of you.
You can't see the mug.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a Roy G. Biv guy.
And it the figure itself zoots away on a rainbow trail out to extreme range. And one of these little energy bubbles starts buzzing its way right towards you, Logan. So please roll your defense, please.
I'm going to go ahead and use the good old stamina there. And that is a failure.
Okay, so it looks like you only have 2 defense. Yeah, so we should probably, so you guys were all kind of, with the exception of if I recall correctly, all of you were kind of like cuddled around the portal, with the exception of Jude, who was like doing patrol stuff.
More or less.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. But Logan, you said you were also doing patrol stuff. So this thing, it impacts your VARG and like explodes out a little bit of light. Doesn't do any damage to you, but it does look like there is kind of an area of effect to it that fortunately no one else was in the room for it. It sort of bumps off of you harmlessly, but then recoalesces and then starts coming around for another go. And then we have a PC turn.
I would like to take it if I can.
Sure.
I want to use the skill trick fast planning.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw out an order and see what happens. Laughs is going to say, concentrate fire on the center one.
You mean the one that just zipped out to extreme range?
Yeah. So there are two maybe you might give a better order. There are two floating, like one whippy arm one kind of pill bug one, just sort of floating in space. There are 7 blobs of energy that are zipping around, and there's one that's way the fuck over there. So center is not.
Yeah. So as he was saying that,
Yeah.
it moves, right? And he's like, correction. Flaily arms one. And
Okay.
anyone who follows that order gets a reduced target number for their
Okay.
next roll.
So you're spending that you're using that's a skill trick, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. You still get an action as well. So I believe that does cost a momentum though.
I
It
marked
does.
it.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool.
I'm gonna have the thing whip me toward that, and I'm gonna try to get in close range because that's what I do. I
Okay.
grapple things and
All right.
like,
Yeah.
fight them.
Let me just make a quick let's see if this fucks up or not roll. But yeah, no, you feel the telekinetic arm tighten around you. It pulls you back off a little off the station and throws you right at your target.
Cool. Do I get there quick enough to?
Yeah, you
to
get
attempt to-
within close.
yeah.
It gets you within close range to do what you want to do.
Cool. I would like to attempt to prevent it from moving. I know that's hard in space, but I'm going to try to like hold it down so that people can shoot at it.
Okay,
That's
so
my plan.
You're
So-
trying to hold to get a grapple on it.
Yep. But not be shot at the same time.
Noted. Go ahead and make a close combat roll.
Yep, working on it. That's a botch.
Botch. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So you so what happens? You guys get 2 momentum. Like you're flinging, you try and like pull a fancy move, and like you're on track to hit it, but your own like flailing and counter moving spins you off, and you are moving past it.
Cool. I scream as I'm doing that. I meant to do that.
It was deliberate.
Okay. So now I have another PC turn.
I would like to spend a point of inspiration and
Okay.
activate Chess Master.
All right.
So that everyone gets the much like in our prior combat, everybody will get the defense stunt outwit for the rest of this scene.
Okay.
So you get to add, I swear to God, I could find numbers right now. I'm not nervous at all.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
You get 2 added to your defense for the rest of the scene, everybody. And I'm not sure if that takes up my entire turn or not.
It shouldn't. You should get an gift use doesn't. Yeah, I don't think gift use takes an action.
I am.
So that is not permanent, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just for.
Well, no, we
Yes.
have to spend a success on our defense roll to get 2 successes, basically.
Okay.
The stunt that costs 1 success.
All right. Noted.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that you can spend that gift and then take an action.
Cool. I don't have extreme range weapons, but I at least can start trying to deal with the things that are here.
I will note if you target the flinging armed one, you will get a reduced target number based off of Laugh's skill trick.
I will target the flingy armed one, and
With what?
specifically what I would like to use, if I can get the dang window to come up right. I would like to use my smart missile launcher.
Okay.
Smart missiles.
For no particular reason, what type of damage does that do?
The type of damage, it has incendiary 2 and massive explosive ranged 3.
It's
Okay.
incendiary.
So it's
Yeah, fire.
incendiary type. Noted.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and make that roll.
Okay, and what was the VARG attack roll? One more time. I'm super sorry, guys.
For the missile launcher, it's going to be either pilot or aim.
Okay. And then our relevant attribute.
Yeah, whatever attribute you think is relevant.
I will say actually composure is what I'm going to use for that one because it does require some tactical thought here.
Okay.
To not blow up your friends.
Precisely. Okay, 1 second. I got 110, so let's re-roll that. I'm having a great day, guys. 4 successes.
4 successes. And how much enhancement does that provide?
The enhancement that provides is not insignificant, actually. The enhancement is 5.
5. So you have a total of 9 successes. Its
Yes.
defense is 4. It does not appear to have any significant armor.
I
so
forgot
you
to add
are-
enhancements to mine. Oh, I just realized I forgot to add enhancements. My brain is not working today.
It's I. So you are able to damage it once. Does it have the brutal tag?
Let me answer that for you. No,
If you just took it straight out of the book, it does not.
it does not.
So you can spend the rest of your successes to crit it, if you so desire.
I do.
All right. So you do 2 damage to it. So yeah, missiles fly in and impact, exploding around this thing, and it seems to disrupt its pattern of whippiness. Okay, I have another PC turn.
I'd like to go.
Sure.
So I am going to. I'm trying to do 2 things. I want to aim for the whippy guy with my gun and accelerate towards a point in space where I can catch up with laughs and essentially catch him with the hope that I can throw him back towards the fight so that he does not just go tumbling off to uselessness.
Okay. Would you like to attempt both things this round? Because you can move to him and get there, but in order to accomplish that and fire your gun, you'll have to do a mixed action.
Unless you have the fighter pilot skill trick.
Which I do.
Okay, then there you
go.
Momentum marked.
And yeah, so I'm going to aim.
Does that allow you to roll 2 separate things, or does it allow you to use the highest?
Let me look at fighter pilot real quick.
Yeah, please do.
Pilot. Handling a vehicle is second nature to the pilot. When in combat, rolls to maneuver a vehicle do not count against the character's maximum number of actions for a complex action.
Okay, I'll say that counts.
Okay.
Well, okay. So it still means you do need to make a mixed action.
Okay.
It just means that it does not. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, you're not having to do like super awesome maneuvering. So I would say that wouldn't apply. So you wouldn't have to spend that momentum to use the skill trick, but you would have to make a mixed action to do both things.
What about making 2 attacks? One ranged at the dude, the whippy arm guy, and a melee at the other guy when I get to him.
That would also be a mixed attack.
Then I'm going to do that.
Okay. So basically, you're going to roll your lowest dice pool.
Okay.
And you're going to have to spend your successes to try and accomplish both tasks.
Okay. Happily, I have the same dice pool for both. My Dex pilot and Dex close combat are both 9.
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You have 1 scale on this opponent, by the way.
Good. So I'm, yeah. How does the reduced target number work?
The reduced target number means that you are looking for 7s and above.
Okay.
But only, oh, this is nasty.
Yeah. I will say, for me, what makes sense is if I get a success on a reduced number, I can only apply that die success to my attack against Whippy guy.
That makes sense.
All right. So target number is now what? 7?
Yes. Both of these
So-
things have a defense of 4, by the way.
Okay. I got 4 successes. 1 of them was a 7. 2 of them are 10. So I'm going to re-roll those.
Okay.
And I got no additional successes. So does enhancement factor in now or?
Yes.
Okay. So my gun has 5 enhancement.
Okay.
And my sword has 5 enhancement. So I'm just going to say 5 enhancement.
That sounds right.
So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 successes total. So I am going to
So I will say that you just to hurry this up, you are able to damage both of them once.
okay, then I will do that. So it is this, like, I use the momentum of me like doing an orbit. I put my verniers at maximum burn. I fire a shot and then draw my sword as like I'm almost racing the bullet. And yeah, I fly past the chromatic one and do a very dramatic drive-by slash, all while still beelining for last VARG.
Okay.
It's very Gundam.
Indeed. All right. So I will say Raphael, please roll your defense because these little color blobs are coming for Jude, for Cesar, and one for you.
Okay.
But only one of them gets any successes at all to try and do a thing to you. And I will say that it happens to Raphael. So please roll your defense.
Okay. And that roll is, I'm super sorry.
It's going to be one of your resilience attributes.
Okay, perfect.
Scott, since I was technically still attacked, should I still pop somewhere else? Because I was planning to use blink when I got attacked. So would I still jump, or would I realize I don't need to?
I mean, that would take you in the same general vicinity of it. So I would leave that up to you.
Would outwit apply to this?
What exactly does that do?
That is the defensive action that my gift granted us.
Yeah, it would apply.
Okay. Okay, so that is. I'm sorry that I'm slow, y'all.
No worries.
It just took 20 minutes. You're fine.
You won't stay off the kitchen counters.
And we've got 7 as
No, it's
Those-
still going to be 8
okay.
and above for this.
still the 8 and above. Okay, 8 and above is 4.
Okay, you're able to move out of the way of the thing. Hold on, where's that guy? Yeah, he did a thing. Okay. What's going to happen next is the pill bug looking thing is still it's medium range from y'all. It is going to look around. It sees laughs spitting off into chaos. It sort of tightens up its coil. I'm going to spend a point of corruption, and it is going to blink out of existence and blink and then appear right in your path. Pillbug arms open wide, ready to catch you. So it's just teleported. I will say that the remaining color blobs zip around but not gain purchase, and we have one last PC turn for this session. Who wants to take it?
I think I'm the last one to go, right?
I think you are, yeah.
All right. So rather than actually doing something apparent, Wu is just going to take a deep drink,
Hmm.
drink breath, and close his eyes and just feel everything around themselves, know where everything is and their place in the universe, and they are just going to activate the core technique of empty world style, which is true awareness.
Okay. So yeah, you expand your view, and that means you have the perfect insight to see coming from that aberrant a chromatic wave of energy start barreling towards the party with this intensity of quantum fire about to slam into all of you. And that is where we're
boy.
going to end the session for today.
Oh boy.
Okay, all right. So we'll do this fairly quickly. Did anyone achieve a short-term aspiration for this?
I got new
session?
clothes.
I think I made friends with at least one of my new teammates.
Absolutely.
I believe I got both my short terms.
Okay. What about laughs? Did you get any of yours?
Not really. Mine were offer someone support emotionally. Didn't really do that. And be serious for once. Didn't really do that. So not this
All
time.
right. What about Raphael?
I mean,
Did
you
get
sounded pretty serious about the chili dogs.
it? No.
I'm not sure if I made anybody laugh with a little bit of dark humor or comforted somebody in a time of crisis. So
All right. Well, we'll make that a wash. So that means that you don't get the one for everyone getting one. I don't think anyone got a short-term, long-term aspiration out of it. But you did certainly spend half of your available momentum. So that's going to be an additional. So that's going to be one per short-term aspiration, one for the momentum, and then everyone gets 2 base for attendance. Okay. So did everyone have fun this session?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely be getting back into the fray next go. Does anyone have? Let's go through the table and let everyone plug themselves and give out their get out their pertinence. We will start with Sean this time around.
I don't really have a lot of spots. You can find me on the internet right now. You can search for my name, Sean Creef, and it will bring up Drive-Thru RPG, where you will find a lot of my works. And I'm assuming by the time you see this, Twitter may not be a thing.
It's a possibility. Who knows? We live in a crazy world. Who are you throwing it to?
I'm going to send it down to John.
hey everybody, I'm Johnathan Fye. I was Rafael Alvarez Castillo. I am the community manager for Jackalope Live Action Studios. We run the night in question. I'm also one of the creative partners and founders behind Cerberus Interactive Media, and we will be running Giovanni the Family Reunion at Midwinter Gaming Convention in 2023, January. It is a Nordic style V5 LARP that tells the formation of the clans of death into the Hecata. You can find me on many things, most notably ATL by Night, where I play a Lassammer by the name of the Spider. My socials are going to be linked in a link tree probably during this whole thing, so
In the
check
show
me
notes,
out
yeah.
there. And I'm going to toss this to Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh Heath. I played Laughs, long name. And if you're interested in finding out more things that I'm involved in, you can Google me. You'll be scared. And otherwise, I can be found on Mastodon, because that's the big new thing, at jheath@dice.camp. And I'm going to kick it to Nigel.
Hello, I am Nigel O'Rear. I have been playing Flight Lieutenant Jude Fletcher. I don't really maintain a social media presence where my identity is part of it, so I don't really have anything I can plug. But I'm out there lurking like a magnetar, dark, pulsating, and brilliant.
Watching, waiting.
Gonna throw it to I'm so sorry, the guy who plays
James.
Logan. James.
I'm James, he, they. Like several of the people here, don't really have much of a social media presence. You can occasionally find me on other games. I play on Onyx Path channel sometimes and Croco's channel sometimes. I have been playing the salty staff sergeant that is Logan McCall, who aberrants in their bullshit.
All right. And finally, well, first of all, I need to know who that cat is. Who's that cat? Johnathan.
This is Stolas. He is a rescue cat that I adopted through Coco's Cupboard here in Georgia. They're an excellent charity. Please throw money at them.
Absolutely. Gotta give props to the cats. But anyway, I have been Scott Cuban. I've been the story guide. You can find me on my YouTube and Twitch channels, Simulacra TV. Currently, as of time of recording, I'm on Twitter at Simulacra RPGs, but who can tell the future? None of us are actually clairsentient, except for, seeing the bumbling of a mad billionaire. And knowing where that generally goes. If you'd like to support the show or the channel, you can go to patreon.com/Simulacra Studios, become a patron, the primary benefit of which you gain access to the Discord servers, and you can get access to early casting calls, as well as chatting with these cast members and all past and previous cast members, which is a delight because they're all good people and I don't game with schmucks. But anyway, that's us for today. We look forward and see you when we see you.